Breaking news, the Feds hold rates and maybe 3 rate reductions in 2024. And today we're going to break that down, but we need to get prepared for 2024. 2024 is going to be one of the most chaotic environments you've ever experienced, but there's actually good news. In chaos, some of the biggest wealth and some of the biggest generational transfers happen. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic. At the end of every video, consistently, boringly consistently, I'm going to break down exactly what I'm doing from my paradigm. I have 3 amazing resources for you. Number 1, you can set up a free consultation with my licensed insurance team. We teach you tax code 7702, how we secure, fund, and compound our wealth and pull at retirement tax free. They don't teach you this stuff. They teach you how to insure your life, but they don't teach you how to insure your wealth. Also, we have a 16-page absolutely free guide on exactly how my blueprint is set up. And lastly, you can jump right into our Warrior Academy. It's all in the description of this video. Click the link down below, or in my social media platform, click the bio. So let's dive into this. Now, 2024 is going to be one of the most chaotic experiences you've ever had. Number 1, we have one of the most wild, most historical presidential elections in human history. We have a transformation in the financial space where we're going to see the complete settlement of the Ripple versus SEC case. And we saw the SEC's knees get taken out over Grayscale. Ripple smacked the SEC left and right. And now we're going to see regulation in cryptocurrency. So I'm going to repeat this. There's going to be 3 things you need to watch out for. Okay. Number 1 is the Bitcoin ETF being approved. Number 2 is the Bitcoin halving around April. I think it's late April or early May. Okay. And number 3 is going to be interest rates reduction, which we got clarity that they're going to lower interest rates. Okay. So the middle class, we're not trained on how to think about this. It's really important. So I'm going to try to make it as simplistic as possible. What are you taught? You're taught to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, and work to retire with safety. Well, what happens is on the back end of your retirement, so imagine right now you're 65, maybe 70 years old, and you're getting ready to retire. What happened to your 401k in 2020, 2021? It completely collapsed. And now you have to work 4 more years to get back to baseline. We have to start to learn how to take these boom and bust cycles, get the profits, and secure those. Okay. So as we walk into 2024, there's going to be some radical transformations. So the Bitcoin ETF is basically fractionalizing Bitcoin, right? So that's bringing it into the institutions. So that's going to bring a bunch of institutional investors in. It's going to bring the big money in. Number 2, the Bitcoin halving, very simplistically, is where they reduce the supply of Bitcoin that can be mined, which makes it more scarce. When something is more scarce, it becomes more valuable. Okay. And also it has a fixed supply. So we've never had an asset, or what now the largest asset manager in the world says, a flight to safety, which is wild. He said in 2017 it's used for money laundering, but now it's a flight to safety. But we've never had a flight to safety or an investment that has a fixed supply, that 70% of it has not moved. Okay. And every 4 years, it becomes more scarce. So this is going to be one of the biggest transformations in wealth in history, just in my opinion. And then we're going to talk about interest rates, which is what Jerome Powell was talking about yesterday. But I want you to listen to what he says. Go back. I watch almost every one of his videos that he puts out. Back in the days, he was confident, guys. But you're going to hear from his mouth, not my mouth. You're going to hear from his mouth that he is uncertain on what's going to go on. Guys, we are in a financial position where there's no money in the system. We have more debt than we have money. We got downgraded as America. We got downgraded in our credit rating. Okay. The regional banks are starting to get downgraded. We had banks start to collapse in 2023. We have more debt than we have income. We have to borrow to pay for critical services. The average American retires with $300,000, and the consumer credit index is skyrocketing right now. So Americans are now stacking their rent, their food, their groceries on their credit cards. Then we're heading into 2024, one of the craziest presidential elections that we will ever experience. But if you don't, I'm sure you watching this at this point, you're a pretty high conscious being. Guys, 2024, I'm looking you in the eyes, is going to be the greatest separation in consciousness in human history. That's why we've been telling people, get your house in order. But I want to show some exciting stuff share some exciting stuff with you guys. I want to show you. I was sharing with you guys as part of a documentary, but I do want to share. I want to celebrate, and then I also want to share something that's really important. Okay, so this is my Twitter page. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's Coach JV _. But this is a fun picture that I was part of. Right, so this is the documentary. It's called XRP Unleashed. So it's going to be unleashed around April 2024, and so I was invited to be part of this documentary as a expert in the cryptocurrency space and macro microeconomics. So this was exciting. This is part of the filming, and we'll get more information as we go out there. So we're down here in LA filming right now. One thing I want to share with you guys is you see this picture here. You see my hand position. This is why I want you guys to stop believing bullshit on the internet. Okay, so look at right here. It says, what does this say right here? There's all these comments, and they're circling my hand here. Okay, this is important, guys, because this is how we get fudded in, fudded out, how we get manipulated by fake news and people making up fake stories. It says JV is part of the Illuminati. That's called a mudra, guys. Do your research, which is really important. The reason why I bring this up because a lot of you fall for this type of stuff. That all of a sudden these rumors start, guys. I follow God and follow the life of Jesus. But this is an exciting picture. But then someone takes it and says, oh, JV's, I've been told I'm part of the Illuminati and part of the Masons and all that stuff all the time. But it's an important story of trying to use discernment and really listen to your gut. And you do that through taking care of your health, your mindset, right? Getting your shit together, not waiting for a savior. With this stuff is very important. So I wanted to show you guys that no, I'm not part of the Illuminati. I'm not part of the Masons, but it's a great example of how everything gets misconstrued on the internet, right? And then you believe these stories and these narratives. That's why I don't believe anything other than getting to the own origin of myself. So everything that I speak is my truth. And I wanted to show you guys that because that's a great example of that. I'm sitting there. I've always sat like that since a kid. It's called a mudra. And I didn't sit like that as a kid based on being at a mudra, but I figured that's what they say when men that are, I would say, divine masculine, often a lot of them sit like that. That's just how I've always sat. But it's so interesting to me, and I wanted to bring that up because I think it's important for our narrative, right? Because we hear a lot of bullshit on the internet. So my message behind this is get to origin, guys. So all of my investments are based on what I understand deep inside of myself, what I know, what I study, what my truth is. So I just want to share that with you guys. It's a fun picture. But no, I'm not part of the Illuminati. I'm not part of the Freemasons. But I think it's just really cool to be part of this documentary. And I just wanted to bring that up because I don't want you guys to get fudded or get caught up in narratives that don't even matter. It doesn't even matter. What matters is your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, and your free will every single day to get our shit together. Okay. So Fed's hold rate steady indicates 3 rates coming in 2024. So I shared with you guys the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin ETF, and rates. So why do I keep bringing up rates? I don't know if a lot of influencers are talking about this around investing, but the reason why I bring this up, guys, because when they cut rates, guess what? The US dollar becomes less valuable. And when the US dollar becomes less valuable, investors flood to a flight to safety. So they're going to flood to cryptocurrency, stock market, and our assets are going to go through the roof. Now, here's the thing that sucks for the unsuspecting middle class. If you wanted to afford a home, guys, a $600,000, $800,000 home, if interest rates drop, is going to skyrocket over $1 million. So the American dream is dead, guys. We got to get out of that indoctrinated American dream. Go to school, get a job, get a 401k. The average person retires with $300,000, guys. The 401k is not a retirement vehicle. I don't believe it. The 401k was designed, this is just my opinion, for the company to pass the risk on to you. And then they're incentivized to put it back into Wall Street. Think about that. And how many of you is your 401k allocated into your company? So you work your ass off for a company you don't even like. You trade time for money. And then you go to an HR director like, oh, we're going to get more benefits if you invest in our company. You take your hard-earned money. They take a percentage of it and put it back into their company. It doesn't make sense, guys. It just, to me, it logically just doesn't make sense. And they're like, well, get a Roth IRA. Well, if you're wanting to become wealthy, if you make over $250,000 a year, you can't even get a Roth IRA, guys. So I don't believe 401ks or Roth IRAs are designed for you to become wealthy. I believe there's other vehicles out there, things like cryptocurrency is an opportunity for you to make a large amount of money. But the key is, on the back end of this video, I'm going to share with you what I've done to build financial freedom for my family. So we're going to listen to what Jerome Powell says, and then I'm just going to show a short clip of the next video where he talks about the Fed's holding rates and what that means for us. But I know this stuff isn't too exciting, but this is the stuff that will make you wealthy because When you understand the game, not what YouTubers are saying about cryptocurrency going to a certain price prediction, but when you understand the cycles and the mechanisms of how things cycle exact from history over and over again, you can predict the future, guys. So I know that it's going to go parabolic from 2024 to 2025. And I'm going to have a very strict exit plan because this right here, listen to what he says we're uncertain. This is the head of the Federal Reserve, an entity that controls job markets and money supply. Listen to what he says.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. As we approach the end of the year, it's natural to look back on the progress that has been made toward our dual mandate objectives. Inflation has eased from its highs, and this has come without a significant increase in unemployment. That's very good news. But inflation
at this point, just pay attention to what's going to happen, I believe, in Q1. What's starting to happen on the back end of Q3 or Q4 here, 2023. Pay attention to Q1 2024.
Is still too high. Ongoing progress in bringing it down is not assured, and the path forward is uncertain.
So it's unassured, and the path forward in 2024 is uncertain. Is that what you want to hear from the head of the Federal Reserve? Guys, they're in uncharted territory, guys. This is complete uncharted territory. Think about that for just a moment. They're moving into a realm that they have never experienced before. So let's listen to some commentary around the Fed's decision.
Release of its statement and the decision, and for that we go to Steve Leisman.
The Federal Reserve leaving interest rates unchanged at 5.25% to 5.5%, a unanimous decision in the December meeting. The Fed says growth has slowed from the strong third quarter pace, saying inflation has eased over the past year, but remains elevated. It's the first time they said anything positive about inflation for a very long time in the statement. And they backed off somewhat their bias to hike, saying it was now determining the extent of any additional policy firming, inserting the word any into the statement for the first time. They lowered their 2024 Fed funds outlook to 4.6% from 5.1%, so half a point down, forecasting on average for a Fed official 80 basis points of rate cuts next year. It had forecast just 50 basis points from a higher level. Of course, they got rid of the expectation for the forecast for an additional rate hike this year. That's gone. They lowered their inflation outlook for this year to 3.2 from 3.7 for core PCE. That's down by 50 basis points. They hit their 2% inflation target now, maybe a little bit earlier, sort of towards 2025 or the end of 2025. And they see below trend growth of 1.4% next year, a tenth less than the September forecast. Unemployment rate seen at 4.1 next year, about 0.4 higher than the September forecast. And they repeat in the statement that job gains have moderated but remain strong. Now, there's something in the dot plot that I think is worth pointing out. While that median did come down from 5.1 to 4.6, there are 5 Fed officials who are below that 4.6 number who see a full 100 basis points of rate cuts next year, and they're even more dovish into 2025. If you remember the September forecast, there had been at least one Fed official who was above 6%. That's gone, and the top of the dot plot now for next year is now 5.40. So I would say that the Federal Reserve today took a step towards the market rather than the market taking a step towards the Fed. I wouldn't say it's an all clear on this, but the Fed definitely backing off plans to hike additionally, or making certain that it plans to hike, and also forecasting more in the way of rate cuts next year for the average Fed official than they had in September. Tyler?
Okay, so let's dive into this. I want to break this down in simplistic terms. Okay, so you're the Fed. You are uncertain right now. You're buried in debt. This is just logic. I'm thinking about this as we're going to walk through this together in my mind. Okay. So imagine we're America, we're the Feds. So we're buried in debt. We have no money. We have no money in the system. We have a bunch of maxed out credit cards, right? So we're trying to figure out how to balance this out, right? So we're like, okay, so if they were going to cut rates, the only thing we could do is figure out a way to get more money in the system, right? So here's what I think is going to happen. Is we are going to obviously have the Bitcoin halving, the Bitcoin ETF, which is going to create a lot of interest in cryptocurrency. Then we're going to get to the presidential election around November, right? We're going to start to see these rates cuts coming in. They're going to do that as well because they want to get reelected, all that stuff, and how it all cycles every single time. Remember, they don't give a shit about you guys. This isn't about you. This is about them getting reelected and their power structure. So on the back end of 2024, we're going to have a Bitcoin ETF get approved, or the front end of 2024. We're going to have a Bitcoin halving. Around 90 days after that, Bitcoin's going to go parabolic. It's going to start flooding into altcoins, and then boom, they're going to lower interest rates. That's going to flood people into assets, into a flight to safety. The middle class is going to start to get destroyed, and they may have to turn the printing machine back on. I'm just going to put this on video because I think this will age well. In 2023, we shared with you guys, ironically, they started FedNow services, right? FedNow services, it's in your local bank, right? You can look at the account disclosures, where FedNow services allow you to, quickly transact a qualified direct deposit with FedNow services. There's no fees. The banks can't charge you fees. So what if in 2025 it gets so ugly and it gets so nasty for the economy that they have to turn the printing machine back on? So then we go into tokenized assets, printing machine turned on full blast, and money moving at the speed of light, which could fix this broken system. The only way I believe we can fix this is to switch the system. That's why I'm so bullish on blockchain technology, on-demand liquidity, DLT. But here's the big but in this, okay? This is why I have everything set up the way that I do and why I repeat the same things over and over again. I would just hope that one person would hear this and understand what this is about. Yes, you can make a lot of money in crypto, but you can also get smashed in crypto. And with no regulation and no normalization, the good news is that it's extremely volatile because it's extremely speculative. The more speculative something is, the more volatile it'll be. That's why you can't, when people say, well, it's not fair for you to say crypto is not retirement. It's not your retirement, guys. If you think cryptocurrency is going to get you to retirement, you're going to get wrecked, guys. Crypto is an opportunity to make a large amount of money as a speculative asset, to pull profits and put it into things that will be secure for retirement. Okay. Now, when it gets normalized, that's a different story. In 2030 and 2035, maybe if it's part of the ecosystem and it's normalized and it's regulated and all that stuff, and maybe it's normal like the S&P, it goes up 8%, that's freaking parabolic. And if it goes down 8%, it's a collapse, right? But crypto's not that way right now. So why, who on earth, there's no wealthy people, guys, no very, very wealthy people banking on crypto to make them rich. They're playing funny money. It's like going to the casino right now. You have to put your mindset on that. It's like going to the casino and gambling. That's why you got to be very strategic. Okay. So let's talk crypto first. So, crypto game plan. If I was to walk into Las Vegas and I was to put $2,000 on a black on a roulette table, if I was to win $4,000, I would immediately pull my money. Okay. $2,000. Now I have $2,000 in profit. I'm on house money now. With the house money, okay, that's basically where my portfolio is. With the house money, as it goes parabolic and goes up, if I start winning, I would pull profits and put it on the side. So now I'm making money off the house money, okay, because I'm pulling it out into, yes, I'd be pulling out in fiat, but I'll explain what I'm going to do with that fiat money in just a second. You have to exit on the way up. That's why we created Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. We are actually the creators. I'm the creator, one of the creators and co-founders of Merlin. It's the smartest way to track your crypto. And this is what I'm so bullish on, is we created what's called an exit plan. Okay. All of you need to have an exit plan. In Merlin, you set up your exit plan. There's FAQs where you can learn how to do it. You can, customer service will help you out with this. FAQs, you can set up in the FAQs, we have videos on how to set up an exit plan. This is what saved a ton of people's portfolios in our Warrior Academy, because we had exit plans. We should have exited a lot more, honestly. That's going to go into what I call the greed gene, right? We had the greed gene, guys. It was like, oh, we're going to keep making money. CNBC or Fox News says it's going to 100,000. My favorite influencer was saying it was going to go to 125, 300 for Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Every single person was wrong. So then I realized, okay, if that's how the system works and that's how it's played and it cycles the same every time, we start focusing on exiting about 30% of the all-time high that everybody says it's going to, because Bitcoin was said to go to 100,000 and it collapsed at 68,000. So we were able to pull some profits off of our cryptocurrency and we were able to secure, compound, and grow. Okay. So you need to have an exit plan. That's key. When you exit the markets, what do? You're sitting on fake money, fiat. It's funny money, man. It's fiat currency, right? And so what we do is we secure in what's called tier 1 capital. It's the safest capital in the world. If you look at a risk pyramid, insurance is where the banks put their money. Insurance is where the wealthy people put their money. part of their strategy, right? So we use what's called tax code 7702, Index Universal Life. There's many other ways too with insurance that you can secure your wealth. It's very important. Tier 1 capital is one of the safest capitals in the world. So that's another part of our strategy. Now, why do I do that personally? I don't know if it'll work for you, but it works for me, is because Tier 1 capital, the type that I use, I can actually borrow against my cash value if it's set up properly. That's extremely important, that the agent is maximizing your living benefits, maximizing your policy, not their commission. Extremely important. That's why we got licensed, and I have my own licensed insurance agents so we can set up policies properly for the client. That's where the bad nomenclature of insurance comes in, because you can make a lot of money in insurance, guys, and a lot of these agents are not funding these policies properly for their clients. Okay, it's very important that it's set up properly. Okay, so Index Universal Life is what I use, and I can leverage my policies tax-free, guys. Then silver for barterability. Silver is a very important thing. It's God's money. I'm going to be getting into gold next year. Now we're going to be going heavy into real estate. The reason why is you followed my journey. 4 years ago, I was broke on my parents' couch to financial freedom now. Now we're building financial wealth. Well, obviously, my paradigm's changed a lot. So I have never had tax things like this. So now I'm experiencing the reason why I was an executive at a bank, a W-2 employee, right? Did my little W-2 taxes, all that stuff, made a lot of money. But now that I've become an entrepreneur and I've expanded in business, and now our earned income is increasing every single quarter, I have a totally different ball game. But here's what I realized. This is important. I want to go on a side note here. Do you guys realize that the system is not rigged against you guys? It's designed for you to win. You have to switch your paradigm. You have to stop blaming an invisible enemy. Guys, the system is not designed against you. Tax codes are designed for you. It's designed for you to be an entrepreneur. It's designed for you to provide employment. It's designed for you to use tax code 7702. You have a choice. You can use tax code 401k, or you can use tax code 7702. You can become the entrepreneur and give employment, or you can be an employee. These are all choices that you're making. Nobody's stopping you from being great. Okay. And my number one thing that makes me the richest man in the world is my relationship with God and following the life of Jesus. That is what truly makes me the richest man in the world. That paradigm that I'm living has given me the most rich relationships, abundance, love, kindness, high frequency. And that's what money is, guys. Money is simply energy. It's currency. It flows to the highest frequency. Think about that. How many people that you meet that are super negative, everything happens to them, are wealthy? I'm talking mentally, physically. People that complain all the time, you can see it physically in their body. You can see it physically on their skin. You can see it physically in their bank account. But then you meet somebody, you see them, how you doing? Hey, man, your life is great. Everything is good. And something happens to them and they say it's happening for me and not against me. They're constantly expanding and growing. They're supporting other people. They're pulling the log out of their eye before they pull the straw out of another's. They're constantly celebrating other people's success. I guarantee at some point, maybe not within the current paradigm, but at some point, their bank account is going to match their vibrational frequency. Money is called currency. You put it into a bank, the bank dams it up. They make your money current. That's all we do, guys. We raised our eternal frequency through our relationships with a higher source. Number 2 is we got our shit together. We started studying how money moves through the system. Number 3 is we stopped blaming invisible enemy, realized that the system is not against us, that it's rigged for us, and changed our paradigm here. We started following the currency system, and now we have financial freedom. It's not that difficult, guys. But we have the greatest opportunity in human history, which is cryptocurrency and this transition. But again, it's not your retirement, guys. If you think this is your retirement and this is your path out just by having cryptocurrency, you have to have a plan outside of cryptocurrency. I guarantee you, go find a multimillionaire or billionaire and ask them, hey, do you have all your money in crypto? They're going to be like, no, absolutely not. I got some Bitcoin. I got this, probably like a small percentage of their portfolio. Okay. We got to be careful, guys. But this is our Super Bowl. If we practice, if we're disciplined, if we're consistent, if we have an exit plan, and then we have a diversification plan, we can now be those wealthy people. And we can start to make those decisions for you. Can make those decisions now. You don't have to have money to be free, guys. I was free here before I ever became free in my bank account. So Merlin, it's 30 days for free. All of you guys should download Merlin, set up your exit plan. Again, it's 30 days for free. And then, guys, you can cancel right there on the app. We're very serious about our relationship with you guys. Right there on the app, you don't have to jump through hoops. If it's not something, if you're not raving like everybody that's used it, then you just hit cancel and boom, our relationship is over. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I know it's a longer video. I'm going to be traveling tomorrow back to my home state. So I'll probably do a video just right off my phone. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.